I would like to introduce our Salesforce Singapore admin user group with you. I'm Angie from Cognizant and my co-leader Desmond from Sims Digital. We are running the Salesforce admin user group and actually Salesforce user group is a place to connect all like people like us to share the ideas, the best practices and success together. May I request everyone who attend this event to have a quick introductions of yourself. Probably you can indicate your name, company, the job title, and if you have any questions about yourself and any feedback you want to share, you can do so. So let's have a round to have a quick introductions from everyone. Maybe I can start with myself. My name is Angie. I'm from Cognizant. I'm actually is a delivery manager in Cognizant, and I've been working for Cognizant for around like 3 years, and has been using Salesforce for around like 7 years for now. Yeah. I've been using for sales and service cloud, and now I'm more into the integrations or the automation parts. Yeah. Then maybe Desmond next.
Hi, my name is Desmond. I'm co-hosting with Angie in this new admin user group. This is our second time that we are doing this. I'm working in SIM Digital. It's a new established department that's set up by SIM. So my role is I'm a business analyst here. And about me, okay. Yeah, I mean I enjoy this Salesforce section that everyone in this owner family that joins all this together. Feedback, okay, I think you guys give us the feedback. We'll try to design things that is really surrounding the portion that what you want to talk about, so that we will actually know how this admin group actually will grow. Okay. Let me just go down the list because we have like 20 people. Ash, hey, can we just start by alphabetical order because I just see my list in that way. So Ashley, do you want to like mute yourself and speak like maybe a few words?
Sure, Desmond. Hi all, this is Akshay. I'm a senior Salesforce consultant at Lead IQ and located in KL, Malaysia. I've been into Salesforce ecosystem for like more than 6+ years or so. Glad to be here with you guys.
Cool, Ashley. Actually, the other is it you also? Ashley Cloud down one, is it?
No, I'm the first one that you see in the list.
Okay, because I saw another Ashley also. Yeah, the second Ashley Cloud down one. Maybe you want to continue? Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe he's not around. Anna, come. Go ahead.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Anna. I'm working in Armacell. It's a German manufacturing company for insulation. I started using Salesforce 6 years ago. My role was initially APAC Salesforce manager for the company, and then later became a global role. So I'm basically together with another colleague taking care of all the customizations and all the reporting and also integration into the Salesforce in the company. And about me, what about me? What should I say about me?
You're a mother of three.
My what? I'm originally from Spain. But I have been working and living in Singapore for the past 14 years. So wow. Basically, I'm almost half Singaporean, right? I think that's about it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, next on the list, Asher Kumar. Just now you said hello. Could you unmute yourself also?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Ashish here. I'm from India. I'm working for the company called EPAM and I'm working as a Salesforce developer.
Cool.
I'm working on sales and service clouds and mostly into the development. Yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, thank you, Ashy. Next, Becky.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Becky Sweetman, and I work for an ed tech company called EdStream. So I'm in the sales operations team, but I basically take care of everything related to Salesforce, Pardot, and my Trailhead for my company. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about the topics today. So thanks very much.
No problem. Thank the speakers. Next, CS, our next speaker. CS.
Hey everyone, my name is CS. Usually people call me CS because it's very difficult to pronounce my first name or even remember my first name. So I think that's fine. I'm with PwC as a manager over there. So main role is actually consulting and working with different customers to solve their challenges. So pleasure to meet all of you tonight.
All right, we'll look forward for your speech later, your presentation. Next, Derek Low.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I previously worked for a Dutch software company where I was the regional sales operations person in APAC. And then in 2019, I got relocated to headquarters in Utrecht, where I then became the global CPQ product owner and administrator for the entire global sales force of over 400 CPQ users.
Wow.
I was also doing training in Salesforce and working very closely with a colleague who was actually the main administrator for Salesforce. But I did all of the training globally for all of our reps, including onboarding and sales transformation. So moving them away from their old ways of working into CRM usage, processes, everything's under the sun around sales operations. And then last year, I relocated back to Singapore. I'm now working for a startup scale-up, and I'm hoping to bring Salesforce into the company. Still work in progress, nowhere near, but working hard.
Right. That's cool. That's cool, Derek. That's cool.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Next, Jason. Jason, are you there? Okay, let's just, I'll maybe get back to him. Johan around?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, bro.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Johan. So I also running the other groups at Salesforce before we split up admin group and user groups in Singapore as well. I have been doing the other group for the last 9 years, and I'm happy with Desmond and NG to start these new admin groups. I work in a company called Equinix. We are a global data center company. We have like around 4,000 license globally, and my role is as a business system architect. Thanks.
Thank you, Johan. Thanks. Johan is an MVP as well, just to add on to that. Okay, he has been a great help and a great mentor to both me and G in the groups. Okay, next, Catherine, before you go to your speech, presentation.
Yeah, so I'm Catherine. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me to this to the meeting. I'm based in Amsterdam, actually, but I absolutely love Singapore, and I've met some of you in person, so very excited to meet some more people within the community while traveling is not really an option. So I work for a Salesforce Platinum partner called WAG, and our two biggest areas where we're continuously growing is CPQ and B2B commerce. So today I'll be talking a little bit about CPQ. I understand that it's a little bit of a newer subject within Singapore, so I hope everybody can learn just a little bit from my presentation today.
Thanks, Catherine. Okay, you'll hear more from Catherine later. Pung Kun?
Hi, Desmond. Hi, everyone. Pun Kun here. Yeah, I'm new to this group. So I'm from NCS. I'm currently a Salesforce consultant. My Salesforce journey actually started back in 2015, but halted for a few years. So in total, I have around 2 years of experience. So still a lot of things to learn. Okay, that's all about me.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Pung Kun. And welcome, Mandy.
Hello everyone. It has been so long never attend this group.
Yeah.
I see 6 familiar names there
Yeah,
and the
Pun Kun, right?
faces. Yeah, so what a great Ohana family here. Okay, so myself, I'm Mandy, that I'm currently working in Accenture as a solution architect as well as the project manager.
Cool.
So welcome everyone to the team.
All right. Okay, Marapan.
Hey, this is Mayapan. I'm working as a consultant at NCS. I'm working with Desmond. Just that's how I got to know about this group. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Marapan. Mei, Mei. Yes, hi, Mei.
Hello everyone. Yeah, my name is Mei. I'm from Lava Protocols, a company, Salesforce partner in Malaysia. I'm a business analyst. And
Okay.
yep, I think I was a Salesforce user previously, but deploying Salesforce for a year plus, almost 2 years, so pretty new here. Interested to know more about CPQ.
Hey, cool. Thanks, Mei. Later, Katrina will speak more about that. Okay, next, Mohan Ra.
Hello everyone. Myself Mohan Raj Selvaraj. I work in Novatech as a financial force consultant. I'm new to this group and I'm looking to learn this CPQ session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan. Pradeep Kudati. Sorry, I didn't pronounce your name properly. Pradeep Kotatik, is it?
Yes, hi. This is Pradeep. You can see me as a fresher. I just from I joined Cognizant just 5 months before.
Okay.
And I'm working at Cognizant as a Salesforce developer.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thanks, Pradeep. It's a bit noisy on your end, but it's okay. We hear you.
Is it good now?
Yeah, much better.
Should I repeat?
Okay, maybe just give us another. Give you another 10 seconds to talk about yourself.
Okay. I'm working at Cognizant. I just joined Cognizant 5 months before. You can see me as a fresher. And I'm working at Cognizant as a Salesforce developer. Mainly, I'm working in Sales Cloud now. That's it.
Oh, same company with me. Welcome to the company.
Okay, next, Raja Pibin Chandra.
Hey everybody. As you said, my name is Raja Bipin Chandra. I'm joining from Dubai. I'm a solution architect from Caterpillar. So we tried to implement CPQ, but we went through a lot of troubles, hurdles. So I'm here to understand the best practices and things that needs to be, to make sure that CPQ process is in good recommended process. And looking forward to learn more here. Thanks everybody. And this is my first time attending this group. And thank you all for hosting this such a nice event on CPQ.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, Ronald Deform, is it? Is that your name? Did I get it right?
Yeah, hi everyone. Ronald DeFeo here.
Oh,
I
okay.
currently work for a banking company in the Philippines called Union Bank. My current role is development lead, and I'm basically the contact person for the company for everything and anything related to Salesforce.
Cool.
And I've been in this industry for 9 years now, and I like joining groups like this on free time to learn more about new products, and I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ronald. I think you'll learn quite a bit from Catherine on the CPQ side. Thank you. Ritika Pati.
Hey, hi all. This is Ritika, and I have been into Salesforce ecosystem for around 4 years. I have been working as an analyst at the principal group. This topic for today's session found quite exciting, so I have joined in, and yeah, I am happy to be joining.
Thank you for your support, Ritika. Okay, last but not least, Sita Ku. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Hi, I'm Sita Kunz. I'm been working as a functional consultant for a company called IPC in the Philippines, and my Salesforce journey started in the year 2017. And I have worked on a couple of projects on different platforms of Salesforce, like Sales, Service, and Marketing, Health Cloud, and Paradot. And I'm very interested to know about CPQ. That's been in my head for quite some time. So that's the main reason I've joined today's session, and this is the first time I'm joining.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sita. I missed out someone just now. Andy, you want to speak? Sorry, I missed out.
Hi, Desmond.
So sorry.
Desmond. It's okay. Well, my name is Andy Liao. I've been a Salesforce user for about 10 years. And now I'm actually starting my own company doing so-called territory management for sales territory. And our company is called Practical Geeks in Singapore. And today I joined this call because I want to know more about CPQ. Likely I may have to get a solution for our own instance in production.
Okay, so on the record, Catherine is not from Salesforce. Okay, she's so we're not gonna sell you hard sell anything to anybody. She's just sharing her experience. Jason, are you back? Jason, are you back? Okay, apparently.
I think it's not back yet.
Yeah. Okay. I head back to Angie.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. And then without wasting our time, like I said, that very honored to welcome our first speaker, Catherine, to share with us on the 5 business challenges to tackle with the Salesforce CPQ. To you, Kat.
All right, awesome. So can I take over your? Oh, sorry, you have one more thing to do. You want to announce the meeting for June?
Do you want to present?
Maybe Angie, let Catherine present, then later you take back control. Yeah.
Sure. Give me 1 sec.
All right, cool. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I have a whole bunch of windows open, so just bear with me.
Sure.
All right. It says that I can't share right now.
You can't share?
Let me try again.
How is it, Catherine? Any issue? If not, if not, we can let Angie to do the presentation.
Just let me see. Let me see if I can. Give me 1 more second.
Sure.
And
could you say what's the error? So then probably we will be able to guide you.
Yeah, there are enough tax people here to.
Yeah. But I think the good thing is, so I see that your next. Okay, there we go. It was just a settings issue. Your next meeting is in June, which is really great because we already have a bunch of CPQ people that are super interested in CPQ, but also a CPQ expert, which is Derek. He introduced himself and what he's run. So I think maybe you can already have a part. Derek, I'm signing you up for next June.
Thank you, Derek. You just volunteer for speaking for me in this group. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so today I'm really talking about just some business challenges that you can solve with CPQ. I actually created this deck initially for the 100 Days of Trailhead. If you don't know what that is, there is an initiative run by Jessica Murphy in the US, and she does something called 100 Days of Trailhead. So every day for 100 days, you do 1 hour of something on Trailhead, whether it's, you know, getting a badge or working towards your next certification. And I just finished my 100 Days of Trailhead. So I just put together this presentation for that, to sort of celebrate the end of 100 Days of Trailhead. And I'm very happy to share this with you as well. So I hope you're able to take something away from this, but it's definitely becoming a bigger and bigger topic. And, you know, I think especially with the challenges that we've seen in 2020, you know, businesses are taking the opportunity to really transform how they do business, whether it's through B2B commerce. We see a huge growth in that space. And a lot of times in conjunction with B2B commerce, there's a lot of opportunity to optimize the end-to-end process when it comes to quoting and orders. And seems simple, but for a lot of companies, the way that they have been doing business is a little bit archaic, and let's just say needs to be pulled into 2021. So without further ado, I've already done a little bit of an introduction. I'm Catherine, and I'm based in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, but yeah, definitely love getting over to Singapore whenever I can. So what is CPQ? It stands for Configure, Price, and Quote. And when we talk about configuring, we want to configure a quote and we want to do it as soon as possible for the customer. This is actually a point where a lot of companies struggle. It just it takes a lot of time to put together that quote. Price, how much do products cost? Again, seems a very simple question, but that information is a lot of times, especially in big companies, it's spread out over many different systems. And CPQ really optimizes that and makes sure that everything's in one place. And then the quote part. So how can we deliver a consistent, professional looking quote with all the details that a customer needs? And again, doing it as soon as possible. And this already came up in the chat, but one really great thing about Salesforce CPQ is that there are a lot of out-of-the-box functionalities that you can enable on top of your Sales Cloud. So yes, there's always business cases for doing something custom, but there is a lot that can be done straight out of the box. So why CPQ? This is really just more of a salesy slide. So I'll go through this a little bit quickly, but if I had to sum it up in one word when it comes to why CPQ, it would be spreadsheet. Because, you know, as Salesforce admins, you've all seen users using spreadsheets to create something like a quote for a customer, when there's a really great alternative, which is what we call Salesforce. So, you know, when it comes to just some of the data points, you know, users experience an average reduction in the number of quotes by 35%. The users report an increase in forecast accuracy by 29%. The big one, I think, is a 95% reduction in approval time. So, you know, just these internal processes that really shouldn't take too much time, especially if everybody understands what the process is. The process itself should not take so much time. If you know, internal users need to do some discussion, that's a different story. But just the movement along the different steps, that definitely can be optimized with CPQ. And the last one is, I think, something that people don't really think about when it comes to CPQ, but I think it's actually one of the biggest advantages of CPQ. It allows for the optimization of bringing a new person onto the sales rep team. I think one of the challenges with expanding any kind of team, but especially a sales team, is you have salespeople that might not necessarily be an expert in the product that you're selling. And CPQ allows you to essentially support sales reps in selling right from day one. So without further ado, let's just jump right into business challenge number 5. Okay, product configuration is complex. And customers today, I think it's safe to say that they expect a wide variety of choices, and it's likely that your company also offers a wide variety of choices. So it can be, for one product, there can be variations in the model, the color, the size. But when we think back to what CPQ is for, it's really for the sales rep. And our goal is to have the sales rep be right the first time when they're configuring a quote. So we can configure product bundles that are pre-configured with the option for sales reps to adjust to the customer needs. So first thing we're talking about is product bundles. So, okay, step back. I'm a big fan of coffee. I love coffee, love drinking coffee. So a lot of the examples that I use are coffee related, so just bear with me. But what I really love about product bundles is that it gives you a lot of control in configuring products in the way that makes sense. So you have three main types of bundles. The first one is a static bundle, which is like a cafe Americano. If you have a cafe Americano, you have to have one part of water and one part of espresso. If you don't have that combination, then it's no longer a cafe Americano. So that's what I'm talking about when it's a static bundle. It's one or several components that always are together. Then you can have a configurable bundle. And for example, this can be, like you can customize your coffee. So you have different flavors, different toppings, different sizes. That's what we're talking about with configurable. And then finally, you have nested, and you can think of that like a combo meal. So you have the one product, and then you can add several products around that. So static, configurable, nested, these are the bundle types. Now, what I want to do now is just take a look at what it looks like in Salesforce. So what I mentioned before is that you can enable your sales reps to adjust bundles in a way that makes the most sense. So for example, you can select a pre-configured bundle, and then you can determine if certain things are required, if they're selectable, and you can also control the quantities. So what we see here, required, what the boxes that are grayed out means that they have to be a part of the bundle. So here we have the espresso and the water. They're grayed out, so you cannot change that. That's part of the bundle. But then we have a couple of products that are selectable. So for example, here the sugar is selected, but the cream and the almond milk, if you wanted to add those, you could, select the check button, and then you could add those to the bundle. Some would argue that if you add, sugar, cream, or whatever to a cafe Americano, it's no longer a cafe Americano, but, we're gonna leave that one for now, for the sake of the example. And then the last point is you can control the quantities. So as a Salesforce admin, you have a lot of control of what you do, what you can do in the background with regards to quantities. So you can set bandwidth. So for example, you must have one espresso, or you must have one quantity of sugar, and you can also set a maximum. So there's a lot that you can do with quantity in the background. But again, even if you set that 1 to 5 bandwidth, you would still give the sales rep the option to say, okay, actually, for this customer, we need 3 espressos because they want their cafe Americano to be super strong. So, again, this is all about giving the sales rep as much control as possible in configuring a quote that makes the most sense for the customer. So you're kind of giving them a really solid template, and then they just tweak it to the way that makes the most sense for the customer. Okay, so that's number 5. Let's move on to number 4. So subscription services. And over half of CFOs say that 40% of their annual revenue currently comes from subscription renewals. So this is a huge area of business that is just, it's continuing to grow. So as a Salesforce admin, this is something that maybe you're not doing this right now within your current company or your current project, but this is definitely something that's coming on the radar. So one thing with subscription services as well is, and CPQ in general, is that it's not just focusing on your sales reps. There's, you know, a lot that that it does for your sales reps, but there's also, you know, subscription services. This is an example of functionality that supports your operational teams as well. So let's just continue with that. Yeah, so subscription renewals. And what you see here is that you can really automate the renewal process. And so you can use subscription renewals to trigger an automatic generation of orders, assets, contracts, and subscription. And you can also create a renewal opportunity so that the operations team, for example, can forecast on potential revenue. So again, this is really, really about optimizing not only your sales reps and the processes and the tasks that they have to do day in and day out. It's also looking at, you know, how you can optimize the work of the sales ops teams, of the finance teams, and everybody that works together with the sales team to really optimize what they are, you know, what the end goal is and what we're all trying to work towards. All right. So the business challenge number 3 is that profitability is affected by inconsistent discounting. So there can be a lot of complexity around agreed discounting terms. And for that, we have automated discounting. This is something that's really helpful. And we'll basically, if I had to sum it up, you're just taking the guesswork out of discounting. So again, as the admin, there's a lot of functionality that you can do to set up in the background to make sure that every time, again, you're providing that really, really strong template for your sales reps to essentially fill in. And when it comes to discounting, there's 3 main types. There's bundle discounts, volume discounts, partner discounts. Bundle discounts, that's what we talked about in challenge number 5. So you have a specific bundle that you're selling together, and you can, you know, put a discount on that specific bundle. Or if a certain product is added to that bundle, for example, that specific product can get a discount. Volume discount, you know, that's when you buy in bulk. There can be certain thresholds that you set in the background to say, okay, if you buy 1 ton of coffee beans, you get a certain discount on that from a volume perspective. And then partner discounts, which is also a pretty big component or a feature that can be leveraged within CPQ. Partner discounts are a big thing. You know, how to optimize the discounting that you provide to partners that sell on your behalf, for example. And so what I want to show you on the next slide is an example of what automated discounting at the bundle level looks like and how we can get pretty detailed in Salesforce and what that and what exactly we discount. Okay, so here what we're doing is we are configuring an espresso machine, and we have a bundle of barista favorites that you can add to this bundle. So you have the espresso machine, and then there's some discount options that are available within the bundle. So for example, you see here, you can add or you can choose not to add all these products. At the bottom here, I've selected the milk pitcher. And what I've done in the background is said that if you add this milk pitcher to an espresso machine, that it automatically gets a discount. So you can see here, when we've added this to the quote, this is what an example quote looks like. You see down here, number 6, the unit price is normally 55, but because it's been added to a quote that has an espresso machine, it automatically gets a special price of 44 euros. So that's something that I've set in the background. Again, this seems, kind of obvious and maybe even silly, but what actually ends up happening is a lot of times companies are using Excel sheets and spreadsheets to keep track of, what products should get a discount and when they should get a discount and who should get a discount, and it's very complicated. So essentially, you're just taking all of that information and putting it in one location, so that again, when your sales reps are delivering a quote to a customer, it's correct. That's really the end goal that we're trying to do here. Okay. Number 2, approval chains, slow approval processes. So approval chains, they are a necessary evil. We know why they exist, and they probably will always continue to exist. But there's one feature within CPQ that you can leverage to speed up those approvals, and that's advanced approvals. I won't go too much into detail with this because there's a lot to this. Maybe Derek, this is something that you can discuss further in June. No pressure. But so there are 3 high-level approval processes to choose from when it comes to advanced approvals. There's rule-based approvals, approval chains, and smart approvals. So the first one, rule-based approvals, they fire off when records meet certain conditions. So for example, it triggers an email to be sent to approvers. You see this a lot in a lot of other, like in Sales Cloud, for example. So this is actually a pretty standard thing, but it is, again, a very, it is an out-of-the-box feature within CPQ that is best practice to leverage for sure. Approval chains. This is great when, for example, you have to resubmit approval. So it will remember where it left off and just automatically put it right there to where the approval, the next approval is needed. So you don't have to start over from the beginning. And together, smart approvals, it just in general streamlines the approval resubmission process for your sales rep. So again, if your sales rep needs to resubmit for whatever reason, the smart approval feature really optimizes things like the rule-based approvals and the approval chains. A lot more to this. I think you could probably have a session dedicated on this. But without further ado, we're a little bit short on time, so let me just keep going. Okay, and then this is number 1. And this is my favorite, mainly because I am all about enabling people to do the best work every day from day one. And I think no matter what kind of role you have, that when somebody is new to the team, maybe yourself, onboarding somebody takes time. It takes time to do a knowledge transfer. It takes time for people to learn the lingo and things like that. But with CPQ, what you can do to help enable your, especially the sales rep team, is to sell from day one and leveraging CPQ to do that. So you can use a feature called guided selling. Okay, so again, coffee example, but this is a very simple example. But let's say your company is selling coffee beans, and while the new hire is learning the technicalities of your company's products, you can leverage the guided selling feature to help sell or to help guide your sales reps through the various options of the product. So this example, again, it's pretty simple here. We're selling a bag of coffee. But as a sales rep, the expectation is to sell a bag of coffee that makes sense to the customer. So, from in the coffee world, that means that you don't want to roast the beans in a certain way, and don't even think about grinding them in a certain way because it wouldn't bring out the full potential in the beans. So that's what we're really talking about here. And that's what I've mentioned kind of over and over again throughout my presentation is you really want to give that template, that structure to your sales rep to, and leverage CPQ to do that in a way that makes sense to sell that bag of coffee to your customers. So for example, here we have beans that come from Brazil, Peru, Nicaragua, Rwanda, and there's different types of roast, there's different types of grinds. So how can we put that together in a way that makes sense for the customer? And you can use that with guided selling. I just have a very simple flow diagram here, but let's say, okay, you've selected beans from Brazil, and after you select the beans from Brazil, the roast selection would filter to medium, dark, and espresso. And then let's say you select dark. Then it would automatically give you the 4 options of grinds that you can choose from. So you can choose whole beans, you can choose filter, AeroPress, or espresso. But if you selected espresso, it would only give you the 2 options, whole beans or espresso. Now, again, might seem simple, but this kind of flow and this kind of functionality, a lot of times companies are just missing out on this and missing out on this functionality to really, again, bring a quote as soon as possible to the customer. But for guided selling, really what we're looking at here is it's huge. I mean, from day one, you're enabling your team to sell to your customers. And then on top of that, you're also delivering a professional looking polished quote to your customers. So, all right, that's the sum. Top 5 business challenges to tackle with CPQ. We talked about product configuration and how complex it can be, how you can use CPQ to simplify it. We talked about subscriptions, automated discounting, advanced approvals, and finally, guided selling. So that's it from my side. I do have a QR code, which is also in the slides that I sent to Desmond and Angie. So if you want to find more about CPQ, you can scan this QR code, you can ask me, and you can also ask Derek if you want. All right, so that's it from my end. Let me stop sharing. And any questions from the crowd? Or maybe there have been questions coming in on the chat.
Yeah, I think there was one question, Catherine.
Oh, okay. Let me see. What kind of industry is best? Yeah, actually, I would say that CPQ is applicable to many, many industries. I'm currently working on a project that is with a company that does industrial refrigeration. So wouldn't necessarily spring to your mind as the first kind of business where CPQ might be helpful, but basically any business or any industry where they need to deliver a quote to a customer I think it's applicable. Is there a native app?
Catherine, sorry, this is Anna. Yeah, I just feel a bit lazy to write. I have, very simple question, maybe it's very silly, but how does the CPQ relate to Sales Cloud, Salesforce? Meaning, is that hosted in the platform and then, it will be connected to the objects in Salesforce like opportunities, contacts, accounts, and also the approval process? How does it relate to what we know approval process in Salesforce? Is that different or is also integrated in what the approval process functionality?
Yeah, so I'm not sure I caught the question. It was breaking up a bit on my end as well, but I think, Anna, maybe can you type the question and I'd be happy to answer it.
Yes, I will type now. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I see that there are a couple more questions, so I can have a start with responding to them in the chat, because just to keep an eye on the time. So yes, can I hand over to you?
Yep, sure. Thanks so much, Catherine, and thanks for having me here as well. So what I'm gonna do is,
can you share? Yes.
Yeah. Let me just try it. Can you guys see my screen? How's the audio, by the way? Can you guys hear me well as well?
Yep, good.
Awesome. So once again, thank you for having me here. This is my first name, if anybody didn't actually catch it during the intro earlier. So for those of you who have joined late, my name is CS. I'm from PwC. I'm a manager there working in Salesforce Consulting. So if there's any needs, do speak to me. I have some experience, so happy to help out as and when we can. So conscious of time as well, so I'm going to jump into the presentation direct. One of the first things I'm very happy about is during the intro, everybody was excited about CPQ. So lower expectation about Einstein. I guess I'm happy with that. So, but we do want to explore, right? Why do we actually want to use Salesforce Einstein? And more importantly, as an admin, what's available to me without additional cost? I think today the session is really gearing towards, what's free, what's available out of the box, and what possibly might be beneficial for some of the SMBs around. And if you're a larger organization, essentially you can pilot these features with a small subset of users before you actually decide to purchase anything. So we'll showcase some of these functionalities, some of the strategies that we are about to plan when utilizing these features and potential use cases. However, one thing that we will not touch is basically how to set up any of these functions today, primarily because we'll run out of time, but if you do have questions, do reach out to me after the session. So I think we bounce back to the first question, right? Why do we want to use Salesforce Einstein? I think from a macroeconomic impact perspective, AI is estimated to grow the GDP by a lot by 2030. I'm not going to go into the details, but what we can see is that AI use cases are on the rise, such as labor productivity growth. And if you don't know what is AI basically refers to artificial intelligence. And basically what they uses is use past data to try and identify trend and patterns and use it to predict future events. So this can be very similar to when you're watching Netflix, what are the video recommendations they surface onto your app, or for example, at the end of the day, you try to take a Grab home. The first thing they surface is you can actually book a Grab back home, or if you are going through some of the e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Lazada, or Shopee, essentially based on your previous browsing history, it will recommend you products that is geared towards your browsing history. So usually some of these tech giants, they have the resources to implement it, but it's usually costly. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of resources, and this may not be available to all organizations. So the good news is we operate within Salesforce. So we don't need to hire a lot of data scientists. We don't need to build complex data models. And we should be able to leverage AI. So we want to understand today what are these features that we can use. So one thing that we are noting is that Einstein actually produces lasting values. These are like standard Salesforce slides that they actually provide. But yeah, this is basically a good use case to justify why you want to conduct some of these pilots within your organization, if there's any. So I believe that it's useful, especially when you want to try something new without your organization pre-approval. So you can actually take some of these slides to actually help you plan out the next section. But more importantly, why use Salesforce Einstein? The first thing is you don't actually need to buy a new tool, you don't need a new product, and you don't need to hire new resources. You don't need any of this infrastructure that comes along with building an AI. The second thing is we basically have the chance to remove human biasness or biases. One of the key things, or one of the projects that I've done a couple of years back was on a credit firm. So essentially what they're doing is to provide vehicular loans. So if you buy a motorcycle or if you buy a car, they provide some kind of loan to you, but they need to determine the loan percentage or the loan interest rates, depending on certain factors like how, what is the likelihood of you defaulting a loan. So if you have a less likelihood, then they'll provide you a lower interest rate. If you have a high likelihood, they'll provide you a higher interest rate, that kind of thing. But eventually it boils back down to that person at that point of time, how much interest rate I should actually charge that person. And this can be, very biased at some point of time. So initially we go into the conversation, we ask them, hey, what do you guys use to determine? Oh, income is one of them, how many family members they have, where they're staying. And sometimes, because this was based in a Southeast Asia country, I'm not going to say which country, but basically they look at race as well. So there's some kind of discrimination behavior over there. So what we have actually done is actually build it through Einstein Prediction Builder, or one of the AI models in essence that we'll go through later. And essentially what we have determined is, hey, actually it's really not about, some of these things that we taught like race or income. It's about the vehicular type, because some of them, like certain vehicles, they don't mind those vehicles being repossessed. And that's how we start to analyze, oh, if you're based on certain vehicle type, this is going to cost you a higher interest rate. And basically these are all information that are surfaced to the users on the front end, the people who are processing the loan upfront very quickly, so they don't have to spend a lot of time calculating it before getting back to the client, right, the customer. So that brings me to the next point. Fast insights are available. These are based on past data. The model has already been built. Every time you create a new record, you can actually retrieve some of this information very quickly. And the more important thing is you can actually act on these insights. So for example, if there's an insight that surfaces that says that, hey, you haven't actually met a client for a long time, you can actually schedule a meeting right from your Salesforce mobile app, for example. So this actually gives you a lot of benefits without you going through thinking, oh, how do I actually need to integrate the AI tool into our app? How do I make sure that I can surface it, and all those overheads that you need to worry about. Moving on to the next piece, before we actually talk about any of the AI model, I'm not sure whether how many of you actually is aware of this. As part of Spring 21, they actually released a global model. Essentially, this allows a lot of smaller organizations to actually leverage AI capabilities or Salesforce Einstein in general. So previously, the data requirements is about 6 months worth of data, or at least 10,000 records. Current data requirements means is about 400 records with at least 100 records in binary options. It means at least 100 in one yes and 100 in zero. Sorry, no, 1 and 0. Yeah. But essentially, if you go into this, this help article, it tells you when will your org be included and if there's a need for you to get excluded. So you may want to talk to your legal team, talk to your internal, data protection team to see if this is something that is viable before you guys proceeding on. So these are some of the consideration I hope you guys take before you actually venture into it. If not, you will have some serious consequences, especially for org who protects their data and go with GDPR and PDP and all sorts of regulations. Now coming to the free features available for everybody to try. We have 4 features listed up here. We'll go through them. Some of them may be in detail and some of them may be from a high level perspective, depending on time availability. But we are looking at opportunity scoring, Einstein Prediction Builder, next best action, and Einstein Activity Capture. And I believe these are some of the functionalities that you guys are already familiar with, if not have already been starting to leverage them. Okay. So the first one is essentially Einstein Opportunity Scoring. Essentially, it's available free to all customers since Spring 21. And the opportunity scores basically tells you the likelihood of this opportunity to be won. And each opportunity score, they will actually show you factors that contributed most to the score, both positively and negatively. But in essence, why do you want to use this score is actually to help your team focus on the right opportunities. And each score, since they're given a score 1 to 99, basically you can focus on those with a higher score first. But importantly is also that you can actually put them on list views, put them on records, use them on collaborative forecast or process builder, which I'll talk about on the next slide. Okay, so these are all the places where you can essentially use all these scores. One thing to bear in mind is that the scores may not be intuitive. In a sense, why did I say that it may not be intuitive? The reason is because that when you use a score, if a score is high, but they are getting if a client is going through a lot of process and getting delayed, sometimes it's because, for example, there are legal loopholes that you need to go through, and there are some contract negotiation that needs to happen as part of the procurement process. So if you're dealing with a large client, these are anticipated to happen. And if your close date is repeatedly delayed, it sort of makes sense, because a large client delaying this basically means that they are interested in you, and that's why they're going through all the check boxes to tick. Whereas if you're talking about a SMB client, then maybe repeatedly delaying a close date will lower the score. So that is why the score may not be intuitive. Why delaying a close date will result in a score getting higher in a certain certain opportunity, and a score getting lower in a certain opportunity. So that's the main reason why. Now, I don't want to talk too much. I'm going to jump into the demo quickly. So if my keyboard works, I can actually demo it. But it seems like my keyboard starts to malfunction. But it's okay. We take a look at logging into our home screen. It's essentially easy for us to actually go into the different records within Salesforce. Essentially, what we want to do is we want to go into opportunities. Okay, and we want to select TycoNet, the add-on business, right? So over here, what we can do is we can hover over and see the scores. And essentially, it's that straightforward. Once you have enabled it within your setup, you can drag it onto your highlight pane. You can actually surface it within one of the fields in Salesforce as well, and pull it onto your list views if necessary, and pull it onto your reports. So that is actually how simple it is. You can treat it as any of the fields that you have. And for example, if there's a score that becomes too low, what you can do is you can actually trigger an event or a task that sets it up. So for example, you can put it into your process builder that says that, oh, if a score goes below 30, you want to set up a task for someone to follow up very quickly. Okay, so that's one of the consideration that we can have. Okay, and because my screen doesn't work, okay, sorry. So let me just jump back to my main deck now. So some of the considerations going into designing your Einstein opportunity scoring, you cannot use it if you don't use the standard stage views. So it is based off of your standard stage views. You must have at least 200 close won opportunities and 200 close loss opportunity, and the lifespan must be at least 2 days. So if your sales team, which a lot of sales team or a lot of customers that I've had have done this, is that they create an opportunity and close it on the same day. This may not help you so much in the AI data model. Yep. And essentially, the next thing is you actually need to have at least one update to each close opportunity. So likewise, if your sales team always close and open on the same day and there's no further updates, that's not going to help you score your opportunities very well. So other things that you should take note of is, close opportunities, they will remove the scores. And primarily it's because it's to help you, close the deals. There may be different models for different opportunity types. Just now we talked about, the SMB and the enterprise scenarios. They may leverage different models, and you can't actually control the models really. And opportunities without score, maybe because it's recently created, or your Einstein opportunity scoring has been just recently enabled. So sometimes, opportunity scores does not display factors, because in their model, they calculate that the influence or the predictors may not have that big of a change to, or does not affect the score that much. So that may be some of the reasons why they don't actually, affect or display the factors. So we have talked about so many things. It's so simple as enabling a few, right? What we want to wonder and discuss how we can actually put it into use cases. Because if you don't embed any of the features into your business case, essentially people don't use them. They can see the score there and that's it. So some of the probable use case that you can think of is, for example, setting up weekly sales meetings. Like for example, set up action items for priority accounts that have a lower opportunity score. You may also want to set up a list view so that your sales rep can always filter by the highest score opportunity if possible. And then just now I spoke about it. For example, if you have process builder, set up, you can actually say that, hey, if the opportunity score is below 30, I want to trigger a task for that opportunity so that somebody will follow it up. But of course, different organizations have different requirements. So it's entirely up to you how you want to actually set it up. But these are some of the use cases that we've seen or have seen, and I would like to share it with you. So the next use case that we move into, or the next feature that we'll look into, is the Einstein Prediction Builder. And I apologize if I'm going a bit fast. Do leave a comment below because I'm actually just trying to catch the time, conscious about going over time as well. But essentially, Einstein Prediction Builder is a AI, custom AI that is designed for admins. Basically, you use this when you cannot use any of the out-of-the-box Einstein X, for example, opportunity scoring, where you're unhappy with the model and you want to affect and tweak some of how the model works. So every org actually comes with Einstein Prediction Builder. There's a trial version that you can use it and leverage it. You can build 10 predictions and enable one of them at one time. Just bear in mind that you also cannot use the Einstein prediction component if you don't pay for the full version. So you will see it as a score, as a field within your list views. So it's roughly largely similar to the Einstein opportunity scoring. So you see them on records and list views. You see them on reports and dashboards, and you can use them in process builder and on workflows. So I'm not going to go too far in it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you a quick demo as well. So praying my mouse works now. Okay, so we come into this lady called Tamala Seth. Essentially, what we have done is, this is the scenario is this is a school program running postgraduate programs. Essentially, we want to identify, contacts who are in the midst of applying their prediction or their application, and we want to predict what is the likelihood of them withdrawing their application or, in commerce terms, abandoning their cart. So essentially, we want to know who are actually in the midst of doing it and when do they stop applying it, or the likelihood of them not completing in time before the application deadline. So essentially, we can see, what are the percentage of them dropping out and what are the top predictors, right? Why do we predict that it's only 21% dropping out? It's because that we have their phone number, they have attended the campus roadshow, and they have been referred by alumni. And of course, their email verified is true. So we have already verified their phone number and email. So it shows some inclination that it's not a fake record, it's not a fake candidate. They are interested in coming in and doing some of this, right? And this is the score, and essentially you can actually set it up as a field over here, which is sort of a formula field that you can't actually change it if you do not have access to this component over here. So when we look at the backend, essentially it looks like a scorecard. So we can see the scorecard easily. We can see, what are the top predictors, who has affected it a lot. So people who attended the campus roadshow generally are more inclined to actually sign up, and therefore less likelihood, to drop off. Over time, you will also see like the distribution of results, whether they are predicted correctly or they are predicted incorrectly, and you can actually adjust some of this. If you go into the predictors field, then you can see what are the fields that are included and how are they affecting. So, this is how we sort of determine that, gender, whether, just now we talked about the use case, whether male or female are more likely to drop out. How is that going to affect the application? Over here, we can, say that, hey, based on the past records, they don't actually affect, whereas these are the more important impact or the more important fields that have correlation. So as we can see from here, like phone verified, yes, but the correlation to the data is actually negative. So it sort of tells us that this doesn't really have impact, or it negatively correlates. So people who verify their phone may not actually sign up or may actually drop out in that sense. So this is a high level understanding for us to actually see, how the prediction result works. And as your users continue to update the data, the model sort of continues to evolve. And when we go into report, just now we talked about, I didn't do this Einstein opportunity scoring because I wanted to do with prediction builder as well. But essentially you can sort of determine, put them into charts or reports on however way that you actually want to report on it. So based on the scores, I actually group them up by country and by likelihood. And for me, I went one step further, going into Tableau CRM Analytics Studio and actually going into my higher education lead dashboard. I can actually put these scores, into motion, seeing where are the countries applying from, what are the likelihood of them, the average likelihood of this country dropping out, how the lead conversion actually happens, and of course, the unique lead score value, based on the lead scores available, how many of them are actually within 80 to 100. This is a very simple dashboard that I've set up, but essentially it gives the recruiter from a top university some level of idea, where they are at in terms of their key concerns. And I'm not going to touch this any further because this is actually a paid add-on, whereby I promise you guys, a free add-on. So I'm going to jump back to this. Essentially, if you want to build your Einstein prediction builder, some of the key things that you probably want to take note is, you want to define your use case, what exactly you're trying to predict, how does it help, is it what are the data that actually supports your use case. If you do not currently collect this type of data, then you most probably wouldn't know, whether your AI can actually help you predict. For example, using the opportunity scoring one as an example, there's a reason why you need to have at least 200 close won and 200 close loss, is because you already know that these data represent how the past data has behaved. So now if you don't have anything that indicates how the past data has behaved, you will not be able to build a prediction on it. The next thing you need to do is actually to create your own prediction, and it's fairly straightforward. It's a point and click prediction builder within Salesforce. But a lot of people stop there at point number 3, right? After they have created a prediction, they have stopped there. But the more important thing is actually to review, iterate, and monitor your predictions. So you need to review your scorecard, look at the top predictors, and see if they make sense. So for example, if you're trying to predict the likelihood of renewal attritions, so you may not want to include fields like cancellation reasons, because cancellation reasons already indicates that they're gonna attract, they're gonna cancel their subscriptions. So you probably want to exclude those fields where fields that are populated after the predicted outcome has already been known. The next thing you want to do is actually to build the prediction into a business workflow. And I've talked about this earlier, and I'll reiterate it at the end. Essentially, leaving a field over there, nobody's going to use it. But using it as part of a business use cases, embedding it to list views, reports, or dashboards, or process builder. For example, if you have external tools like Marketing Cloud, you can build them right into Marketing Campaign. Using the application example that we have, if they have a high likelihood to withdraw, you may want to send them, put them into an engagement journey and say that, hey, they have high likelihood to withdraw, please engage them so that they will be warmer and they have a lower likelihood. Okay, and then more importantly, you need to periodically review the model. So you need to actually say that, hey, every 3 months I should look at the model, see if it still makes sense. It shouldn't be a build and forget kind of thing. But it's also important to see how the model has learned over time, right? Especially with newer data coming in. So if the model no longer makes sense, you may choose to update it, disable it, or edit it, or basically clone it and make a newer model that makes sense for your organization. So coming to the considerations, these are the fields that they primarily predict for, whether it's a checkbox, whether it's a formula field or a numeric field. One thing to note, they support all custom objects and most standard objects. There's a list of standard objects they do not select, so you may want to go look it up before you actually buy the product if you want to buy. The free version does not actually give you the predictor component, which I showed you earlier. Records without score, likewise, sometimes it gets delayed, and prediction scores that are stagnant for more than a week, you may want to disable and re-enable the predictions. So they will actually show you like when the score was last updated, and you can actually see that, oh, if it's consistently delayed or stagnant, you may want to re-enable the prediction again. So in terms of use cases, these are some of the use cases we have seen from various industries, and you may actually tweak it according to what your organization needs. So one of the things is like likelihood of membership renewal, likelihood of opportunity amount if you don't have Sales Cloud Einstein, and likelihood of customer first year attrition, leveraging process builder to follow up, to set follow-up actions if necessary. Okay. So we are actually moving on to the next best action. I know it's a bit rushed. I'm probably going to skip some of the points here just to make time. But essentially, next best action offers you, display offers and actions for your users that are tailored to your organization unique criteria. And every org basically receive 5,000 next best action strategy requests per month at no extra charge. So it works for small organizations, or it works for a pilot group of users. But if you're a large organization that gonna use it frequently, Salesforce is definitely going to charge you. I hope there's nobody in Salesforce here. I'm sorry. So yeah, in terms of where can you use it, it's a bit different from previously, but basically you can use it in any of the record page lightning pages you have. You're gonna put it at the app home page, you can do it as well. So some of the things that people have done is using it as an ID and verification kind of tool. You can put it in experience builder, or previously known as community. So you can actually expose these as part of your commerce community or your customer self-serve community sort of things. And you can actually pull recommendations into stream flows. So if you build any stream flow, you can actually pull recommendations in. So likewise, I want to quickly jump into a quick demo for you guys as well. So if we come over here, essentially we can see Tamala Seth again. Ignoring this section, we can see the next best action over here. Essentially, this is how we can potentially combine, your prediction scores, or even any of the other activity indicator. For example, there is no activity over here. What you can actually do is you can actually predict, and based on some of these strategies, and offer some of these actions for your users to take up. So one of the things that I have over here is to schedule career coaching sessions. For example, offering a career coaching session will probably help the student determine what is the closest degree program that they should sign up for. Or we can actually offer a campus tour, show them how exciting the campus is. If they join, this is how the campus life is going to be. They're going to enjoy it over here, and hopefully help them complete their application. So every one of these action over here is actually an embedded stream flow. I do not actually have a stream flow designed for career coaching session. So I've actually set up something else behind. So when you click it, it's supposed to be a lot faster, but essentially this is a stream flow over here. I've set up as a B2B order return, but you can actually set up as any stream flow that your org has designed. And then after that, you can actually choose to ignore if you feel that this is not relevant. And it's important for your team to actually continuously feedback. If the next best action does not make sense, that means that there's room for improvement. So you can actually click on ignore, and that actually saves the data and actually help you with your next best action strategy better. So if you actually go into the next page, this is essentially how the strategy builder looks like. And it gives us a fairly straightforward capability in terms of what are the recommendations. You want to use Einstein scores, how you want to enhance it, and then of course you can filter down recommendations if you have a lot. And I'm not going to go into details, but essentially there are trailhead modules for this, but this is how you actually set up to configure the component at the front end. So now if I actually hit back, just want to quickly touch on 5 steps to success. How do you build your next best action strategy? Once again, you need to define your use cases. What do you actually want these recommendations to do? You want to improve your CSAT score. You want to improve revenue. You want to improve closing rate. That's what you actually want to do, and then why you want to do it. Then the more important thing is, when do you actually want to surface it? Is it when you're at a contact stage, or when opportunity is at a certain stage, or when a case is at a certain stage? You can actually surface it, in your custom objects as well. There's basically no limit to where you can actually surface it. So if you have a custom object that says that, hey, this is the applications, if they are at this stage of the application, you may want to actually send them a care package. Then yes, you can actually set that up and set up the stream flow as well. The next thing is actually identify data that supports your use case. This is very, very similar to what we've talked about just now. Do you already have existing data to actually help you support these recommendations? If you want to recommend an upsell plan to existing customers whose contract are expiring, do you know how are you able to tell who these customers are? So are you able to tell like contract expiry date, for example? If you don't store that date, it's probably a bit harder for you to actually surface this recommendation if necessary. The next thing is use the strategy builder to actually create a strategy. And The last 2 points is roughly the same. You need to build them into workflow so that people use them, and then you need to measure success and iterate. The thing about accepting suggestions and rejecting suggestions basically comes into a recommendation reactions report, and that's where you can actually start to see if this next best action has always consistently been rejected, and you want to find out why, so that you can actually fine tune it or offer some other suggestions or even remove it or delete it as necessary. So that's how you actually iterate on those reports. Here are some of the considerations. All recommendations reference active flows. If you don't have a flow, you can't actually surface a recommendation. So one of the sort of a prerequisite is you need to know how to build flow at least. You may want to add custom category fields to the recommendation object so that these give you more control in terms of loading, sorting, or filtering recommendations in the strategy builder. You may want to make sure that these names, descriptions, acceptance labels, and rejection labels are appropriate because they are no longer back-end kind of fields. They are the ones that are actually surfaced on the front end. You can actually display this recommendation component conditionally. So for example, just now I've talked about, if they are at a stage where we probably want to send a care package, then you will surface it depending on what's available in your data on the backend. So where can we use them again? We talked about offering discounts on renewals if the customers call to cancel their subscription plan. We can surface new products on an opportunity so that sales rep can upsell them, and we can also display product recommendations when customers log on to experience sites or communities and display discounts according to their membership level. So if I'm a gold member, then maybe the bicycle or the subscription plan that I want to buy is automatically discounted for me. Okay, the last feature, I'm going to go through it very quickly, but essentially it's Einstein activity capture. It basically helps you log some of your emails and calendar applications so that users don't have to manually log them. All orgs comes with 100 standard Einstein activity capture permission set. I think one of the limitations is that they can only store 6 months of captured activity data. If you buy them, you can store up to 2 years, but yes, you probably need to check with Salesforce on that because they're the ones selling it. But I have a short video to show you, and if you cannot hear the video, let me know. But I think I'm actually including presentation audio as well.
CS, I think there's no sound. So yeah.
Okay. I don't think I can define to share presentation audio here.
Yeah.
But
It's
in
okay.
essence, it's just music. It's just music.
I see.
Yeah. There's no voiceover. Yeah. Sorry. So just quickly summarize it. I'm past time, so I want to quickly summarize
That's okay.
it.
Don't worry. No issue. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Essentially, we have identified, what are the free features that we have over here. We need to start thinking, what should I do next? There's so many free features. Where should I start? The key thing is to plan out your strategies to make sure that you know what are your use cases that you want to use, where should you use them, but more importantly, collect enough data. A lot of the use cases I've gone through before, if you don't have data to actually support them, then it's actually very difficult for you to build out some of these predictions or leverage some of these Einstein features and capabilities. More importantly, to improve adoption, you should always embed into business processes. Walk through with your users. This is how you're going to do things. Make sure that they collaborate with you and show them how it's going to benefit them, like using the different predictions that you're going to build. Show them that with this, essentially you build a better model. In the future, you can actually focus on deals that you're likely to close, for example. And more importantly, you need to measure success and iterate. You shouldn't stop there by, I've built out the model, it's great. You should continuously look back 3 to 6 months time to make sure that your model is still accurate as your business evolves. So that's crucial with that. So with that, I've come to the end of the session. Hope you guys understand a little bit more about Einstein, and pardon me if I've made any mistake in sharing. I'll hand back. Oh, sorry, the questions, right? Just so that I make sure that I answer them. Okay. Okay, let me scroll up just a little bit. Okay, can you elaborate on prediction builder for special construct formulas, apart from checkbox and numeric type? So in essence, essentially, uh, if you have any fields that you probably want to determine. So for example, we talk about subscription attrition likelihood, right? So you probably don't have any fields that says that this customer is expiring or the contract is expiring. You may want to surface that as a formula field to come up and then use that as a prediction opportunity to say that if this is expiring, what is going to happen next? Are they going to be likely to expire or are they going to likely to be renewed? So then it becomes a yes or no kind of question. And then the yes or no question is basically another field whereby you probably have like stage fields that says that, this is close won, this is close loss. You are actually able to leverage some of those if you build your own formula fields surrounding them as well. So I hope that answers your question because I'm not exactly sure what you are trying to ask. But if there's anything, I think I should have posted my handle, but essentially you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to address them further. For the next question from Just Raj, what are the usage or graph limits of the free Einstein features? I think I went through some of the limits previously. Different features have different limits. You can actually look that up if necessary, but in essence, if I can't remember wrongly, the opportunity score doesn't allow you to actually configure it. So that's the first limit. With the Einstein prediction builder, essentially you don't get access to the component and you can only enable one of them. For the next best action, essentially you can only have 5,000 strategy requests every month. And with the standard activity capture, you don't get access to the entire Salesforce inbox. You only get access to the activity capture and they store data for 6 months worth. That's off the top of my head, but yeah, I would recommend you to look further into that as well. Yep. If there are no further questions, I'll hand back time to Desmond and Angie.
Thank you so much. Without wasting our time, maybe Desmond can take over to play the game with everyone.
Okay. Let me know once you can see my screen. Okay, I see there's still question coming in. CS, we will try to ping it down. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Someone say something? Can or cannot?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so you gotta join this quiz. Okay, I should see the numbers start coming up, and then I can start the. Wait, let me see. I'm not sure whether the session got died or not. So let me know if you all cannot join. Then I have to restart the session. Yeah, okay, I see people coming in. Okay, I have 11 people already. Sure.
I'm not able to join.
You want to join? You get an error, is it, or what happened?
Yeah. Joined at my.quiz.com.
Yeah.
Is it my network issue? I don't know.
The rest of them are coming in, so I guess it's maybe there's a blockage.
I'm the one with the quiz ijz.com. Same issue with me.
Oh, is it?
I also can't open join.myquiz.com. Maybe my company firewall. But if you do the quiz ijz1, that one can.
Oh, the quiz here, is it on the top one?
Yeah, that one works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one works.
I'm not sure. You want me to send you the link on top? Let me try. I see whether I can send you all the link on top. Okay, I'm not sure whether y'all can go by the link. Can try. I never tried that. Y'all can see the link?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm not sure whether you can join. If you still can't join, then I'm maybe really there's some blockage that is there. Okay, 16 people are in. Anyone else still joining? Or 17 coming in? Yes. Okay, I have 28. We have 18. Okay, Jason is coming in. Johan, is it can you click on the link and join, or is it still getting the same issue?
Oh, I in already.
Oh, yeah, in already. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I usually that the quiz ijet.com one.
Oh, okay. Can. Thanks. Okay, I have 20 people already. Okay, if no one else, I will start. Is it okay? Oh, okay. I still see some. Can I start? Okay. I mean, I don't hold up anyone's time. It's a very short quiz. There's only 4 questions, and all these quiz is done, given by our 2 speakers, Catherine and CS itself. So I'll pick. I see there's so many people, so why not I still have some spares. So I'll give out all 3. Okay, I have 3 certs to give out then, because I see today's response is really good. Okay, I shall start. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's start. Okay. Can I see the question? Yes. Coming out. I think I'll press something. I can't remember how this one works. So, are you guys seeing the quiz? Whoa.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you guys are moving very fast. I'm on the 21st place, so at least you get to see the question on my screen. Let me answer it, the last one. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm still the last one. Someone ping me, is it? Oh, okay.
No, I'm just on screen share.
Good. Thanks, yes. Actually, I know. This one is done by CS. So, yes, it's 100. I didn't get one answer. Yes, I'm still the last. Oh, I'll go back to the CPQ question. So this quiz actually go back to the oops, I'm still getting it wrong. Sorry. Okay. Oh, I have the redemption question. Okay, let me just do that. So you actually have like a way to redeem yourself. All right. Okay, all done. Wow. Okay. Okay, we have our winners. Okay, I just screenshot. Pung Kun, Ritaka, and Derek. Wow, Pung Kun, solid at you. Okay. Okay, for the 3 of you who have won, let me just tell you the prize. Just can you all ping me with to my email so that I can send you the code itself of how to redeem. Where's my email address? Okay, this one. I'm gonna put it in. Okay, oops, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put it here. Okay, congratulations everyone. Okay, oops, not this. Sorry. Okay, those who have won, please ping me, Poon Kun, Ritika, and Derek. Just ping me on my email. I will give you instructions of how to redeem the code itself, and yeah. I know the three of you. Ritika, you are from are you located here, Ritika? No, right? Okay, never mind. Just the three of you just drop me an email, and then I will send you all the details. Okay, to my Trailblazer account. Okay.
Sure.
So thank you.
Okay.
Angie, you want to do a closing?
Yeah. So in bringing our sections to close, I would like to really sincerely thank you for both our speaker to share their knowledge with us. I hope that everyone have have enjoyed the sections and find it very fruitful discussions, or also call is that it is a sharing sessions. So stay tuned to our next meetup in June, and anyone who would like to speak can reach out to Desmond or myself to become the next speaker for the next event. So thank you very much and have a good night.
Yeah, I saw Derek's name, Derek's face. So don't worry, Derek. I'll pick you soon. I will have your email anyway.
I
Okay, thank you,
nominate
everyone.
Derek, but who am I? Who am I?
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks.
Okay,
yes.
thanks everyone.
Thanks, yes,
Have
for
a good
sharing.
evening.
It was very great.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks, RCS. Oh,
Thank
it
you
was
so much.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through and see if I missed
Oh
out
my
any
god.
questions.
That's
Yeah.
solid. Seriously. I really learned a lot from that session. It's really damn good. So many free
Yes.
things I can go and whack the thing.
Yeah, just Salesforce rarely offer free things, right? So
Yeah, with limits, right, as usual.
with limits, yeah. But at least they do it now, lah. Last time they don't. All
Okay.
right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Cheers.
thanks, yes.
Thank you. Good night.
I have a
Bye.
quick chat with Angie, and then I'll make a move as well. Mandy, are you still around, Mandy? Oh, Mandy. Okay, never mind. I think she left already. Hey, so how?
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Okay.
I better stop recording first.